This week, we're at Table Rock Lake in southwest Missouri for Heartland's Elite Tour. The Midwest's best anglers will battle rainy weather and rising water levels for a chance to be crowned the newest elite champion. Don't go away. Wet and wild bass tournament action is coming up. Or Table Rock Lake, as it's more commonly called, is one of bass angling's most prized fisheries. Good populations of largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass reside here, and all three species have excellent growth rates. One of the best times to witness Table Rock's bounty is during the spring, when bass move to the banks to spawn. The reproductive urge calls bass into shallow water where they can be spotted guarding their spawning grounds. During this time, it's not uncommon to see numerous large fish patrolling skinny water on Table Rock Lake. Extremely wet weather greets Heartland Tournament Association's Elite Tour April 24, 2004. Non-stop showers have raised Table Rock's lake level nearly 8 feet, and there's no sign the rain will let up. Heartland's elite events feature a bass tournament format unlike any in the country. Instead of being paired with an amateur, pros fish by themselves and have total freedom to fish where and how they want. We'll be following 3 excellent fishermen for today's elite event. Larry Herndon, winner of Heartland's Buddy event on Table Rock Lake this year, is a master sight fisherman. His incredible patience and keen eyesight enable him to fish for bass most anglers would overlook. With bass up shallow spawning, Herndon's the man to beat. Established tournament fisherman Ed Phillips loves to throw a Zoom super fluke. With water covering shoreline bushes, a soft jerkbait could be the right presentation to pull bass from their haunts. 2004 Bassmasters Classic qualifier Brian Snowden is arguably the most versatile fisherman on the Elite Tour. He's comfortable employing any tactic necessary to catch bass, and his record on other tournament circuits proves it. A high finish on the Heartland Tour has eluded Snowden though, but today he could break through. Table Rock's lake level is 922 feet and rising. Water temperature is between 56 and 61 degrees, with cooler water near areas of runoff. Water clarity is murky in feeder creeks and dirty up the rivers. Stained water can be found in the main lake. Today's forecast calls for heavy rainfall ending by noon, and then overcast for the remainder of the day. Highs are expected to reach into the mid-50s, with increasing winds in the afternoon. We find Brian Snowden near Highway 13. He's pitching a 5-inch green pumpkin yum dinger around spawning areas. Snowden wacky rigs the bait using a hook with a custom weed guard made from a 100-pound monofilament.
Ooh, look at that one. Good way to start out the morning. Nice largemouth. Good start.
Ed Phillips starts in Little Cow Creek using a white Zoom super fluke.
I think it's just a little, I think.
Brian Snowden explains how rain affects his fishing.
It makes it a lot more difficult, you know, just the changing conditions, and it's a little more a mental thing than anything, with the water coming up and the rain you have to deal with when you're driving around and stuff. It just makes it a little more difficult on you. I don't think it bothers the fish as much.
Ed Phillips moves off into deeper water to drag a Carolina rig green pumpkin Zoom French fry.
I think it's not a small one, I think.
Snowden switches to a Texas-rigged white yum dinger. He's casting the bait to flooded shoreline bushes and twitching it 3 to 4 feet under the surface.
Well, they're hot, aren't they? Another nice largemouth. Not quite the size we need, but we'll take them.
Phillips explains how rising water levels may affect the bass.
I know this time of year with the fish spawning, it's going to move them a little bit. I don't expect too much of a change, but I could be surprised. Any other time of year, I think you'd see a big movement of these fish.
We find Larry Herndon in Little Fisher Creek searching for spawning bass with a bubblegum floating worm.
The rising water is not the problem. It's just the wind and the rain is both makes it awful hard to see the fish moving in the water because there's always stuff moving on top. If you ever find a fish and get him pinpointed, it's not hard to figure out what to do, but if they won't show themselves at least one time, you can't do much about it.
Make your boat safe and comfortable with Flatfoot. Flatfoot is designed to recess any brand of foot-controlled trolling motor to allow for maximum comfort and control. Most trolling motors are mounted directly to the
Split shot rig zoom French fry near docks in Little Cow Creek.
Yeah, he might make it. Well, there's the first one for the day right there.
Look at him jump. Just a mean smallmouth. Nope. And I believe he'll be short. Put him on the board real quick. Oh, he's a keeper.
Larry Herndon's moved to White's Branch. He's pitching a white tube bait on a drop shot rig to a spawning fish he found in practice. The drop shot rig allows the tube bait to stay in the bass's bed longer, creating an aggravating presentation.
Atta girl. Atta girl. Whew, thank the Lord. That's sightless sight fishing.
Herndon targets deeper spawning fish. He explains why.
Well, deeper fish are just, they're calm. They're not, you know, I think the shallow fish get beat up on by every boat that goes by. I think everybody sees them that takes a shot at them. And, you know, they'll throw a worm or a tube or whatever they can throw in there. And that really makes it hard on those fish. They get really bait, I don't know what the word would be, bait conscious and boat conscious. And so many of them will run before you ever get there. You find a fish that's 12, 15 foot deep like that, not many people got, first of all, have the patience to fish for them, and they don't have the eyes to see them. If you just take your time and fish for those deep ones like that, I really believe they're the better fish. That's just something I got into a long time ago, and I learned that if I could get those fish to bite, I'm fishing for fish that people don't bother. They just don't want to do it.
During practice, Larry Herndon marks on a notepad locations of large spawning bass. Come tournament time, this notepad helps him pinpoint the fish he wants to catch. The problem today is many of the landmarks Herndon used to mark fish locations are now underwater. Ed Phillips has moved to Schooner Creek. He's now casting a bubblegum zoom super fluke.
Oh, man.
Phillips moves again, this time to Fisher Creek. He tries a split-shot rig, but suffers the same fate he had in Schooner Creek.
That was not good.
Wow, this place is real.
I'm fishing for about a 3.5-pound Kentucky that's spawning at the bottom of this tree. Can't see him, it's too deep, but I saw him in practice. And I know he lives there, and he's been there for a week, so he's pretty good shape as far as being locked in. Ah, stink. Ah.
Herndon changes his presentation.
Well, I'm going to a lead head here because Kentuckys are notorious for not coming off the bottom. You just lay there and they won't come up they won't come by 1/6 of an inch off the bottom to get a bait. So sometimes you got to get a bait that'll just lay right on the bottom and won't move. And that's what I'm trying to do, is put a smaller bait down there with a lead head on it that's laid right on the bottom. Like that.
Ed Phillips has moved to Big Creek. He's casting a white zoom super fluke to a wind-blown pre-spawn area.
Bad for the first cast.
Herndon connects in White's branch. Surprisingly, this isn't the spotted bass Larry was fishing for, but a bigger largemouth that succumbed to his offer. Back to Brian Snowden.
There we go.
Herndon abandons the bass he located in Mill Creek. Snowden lands his limit fish. Larry Herndon stays in Mill Creek and hooks up with a good largemouth he found in practice. Herndon's casting the shad assassin to spawning pockets in Mill Creek. He's twitching the bait near the surface in hopes it'll attract a spawning bass and alert him to the fish's location.
Oh, look at him run. Look at that in there, see? Look at that dude. Nice. There, right up in them bushes there.
Now that Larry knows where this bass is located, he can slow down and focus his efforts on catching it with a more precise presentation.
Larry. I've caught many of them, hooked them, brought them all the way to the boat, and let them get them off, and then go back. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, me and Brian caught one. I caught him, broke the bait off, and come back a half hour later and caught him again.
Herndon switches back to the shad assassin.
Oh, man, he took a shot at it.
But the bass is still not cooperating.
Whew. Mercy.
Keep a close eye on Larry's offering.
See, look at oh, he had it. Son of a sea biscuit. He just come shooting out of there and took the whole thing in his mouth, and I didn't touch him.
Keep an even closer eye this time.
Got him. All right. All right, baby. Mm-hmm. I knew it was a matter of time. You know, I've had a terrible, tough day fishing because of the weather, but you know, I'm within a fish of getting the limit. And if I get lucky and fortunate and find one and can catch one more, you know, I've got 4 good fish, so I'd like to think I could get one more.
With weigh-in drawing closer, Ed Phillips moves to the mouth of the White and James Rivers in search of an elusive keeper bass.
There he come and got it.
Another small fish for Phillips. Larry Herndon makes a move back to White's Branch to search for a limit fish. Unfortunately, Herndon is unable to find a keeper bass while idling near the shoreline.
Well, I needed a stupid fish somewhere, and I just didn't find him today. Never found an easy one anywhere.
Scott Pauley of Columbia, Missouri is the first angler to enter on stage with a good limit of bass.
Here's a big bag of fish. Let's see what he's got. He will easily take the lead. Woo, here's a good one. 1763. 17.63 pounds. Hold a couple fish up. And that's going to set the bar up there right off the bat. Looky here.
Corey Utzler of Springfield, Missouri may push Pauley from the top spot.
He's got to beat 1763 to move Scott Pauley out of first place. Mark says that's no problem. Looky here. 20.94 market. New leader, Corey Utzler.
Utzler takes the lead with 20.94 pounds. Kimberling City, Missouri angler Bill Beck has a limit that will threaten the leader.
Going to be close. He's got 5 fish, 4 largemouth, 1 smallmouth. What do you think? 20.94 is what you got to beat. New leader, Bill Beck, 21.62. 21.62.
Beck overtakes Corey Utzler with 21.62 pounds. Dave Barker of Hollister, Missouri is a threat in every tournament he fishes. This elite event is no exception.
I think you're looking for some big bass money, aren't you? And he's got 2 fish like this. Oh, 6.59.
Barker's big bass is the largest of the tournament, but he's got 4 more good fish that could knock Bill Beck from the leader position.
20.67.
The winner of the 2004 Heartland Elite event on Table Rock Lake is Bill Beck with 21.62 pounds. Second goes to Corey Utzler with 20.94 pounds. Utzler caught his fish on a half-ounce Bobby Albert black and blue jig, tipped with a blue zoom chunk. He targeted shallow water in a creek near Kimberling City, Missouri. And third, Dave Barker with 20.67 pounds. Barker also caught the largest bass of the tournament at 6.59 pounds. The majority of his fish came from the backs of creeks on a Stanley spinnerbait. Here's the best of the rest. Here's how our on-the-trail featured anglers finished. When we come back, learn how Bill Beck caught his tournament-winning limit. Don't go away.
Hi. My car's parked outside.
High volume.
New leader, Bill Beck, 21.62.
Well, last night we had a great deal of rain. We had about 4 inches of rain, and I knew we were going to have a lot of runoff. And I was hoping to maybe get a shot at some fish in that runoff, probably be better quality fish than largemouth. And I got 3 spinnerbaits tied on. I won something that had a lot of flash because the water was going to be dirty. So I've got 3/8, a half, and a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait. They're all identical. I've got gold blades, so I have a lot of flash. And I've got like a fire tiger skirt, little orange, chartreuse, and white. Because the fish might miss my bait, I also added a trailer hook. I had 3 fish on a spinnerbait this morning. All of them were over 5. I was real fortunate I had those fish in the first hour. And I caught my fish right here close in Kimberling City, and the water clears up real quick after rain. So I had about an hour where I had a little bit of color coming in after that hard rain. Anytime there's a runoff in the spring when the water's 55 to 60 degrees, those fish will just run to that colored water in the back of those creeks, and they'll usually be largemouths and usually be good ones.
Next week, there it is. We're at Truman Lake in Missouri for more Heartland tournament action. The weather's heating up, and so is the fishing. Don't miss it.